In the book of Exodus, chapter 3, kind of right there at the front end of the book of Exodus, the writer, which I believe it to be Moses, was recounting the experience he had at the burning bush, that he came up and he saw this bush on fire. He walked up to it and the Lord said, "Stop. Don't come near me. Don't come at me with those sandals on. Take them off. It's holy ground." And rebuked Moses a little bit for the way that he was coming to him. A real reminder, I think, of this is that what am I coming at the Lord with that's in between my heart and his? What am I dishonoring God with in my own practice of coming to him? Do I come at him with these preconceived notions of who he is? Is that my sandals? Am I coming to him with an idea of superiority or some idea that I have any kind of authority on my own? Am I walking up to God with sandals on, things covering me that keep me from experiencing his presence and experiencing his holiness? Because I would venture to guess we all have sandals on our feet. We have all got something in between us and the holiness of God. And may it be lust, may it be anger, may it be whatever that, fill in the blank for yourself. Whatever it is, we've all got sandals on. We have all got something standing in between us and experiencing the holiness of God and experiencing God for who he is. So, Exodus chapter 3, he says to Moses, verse 5, "Do not come near. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place on which you're standing is holy ground. I am the God your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." And Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. And then the Lord said, "I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt. I've heard their cry because of their taskmasters, and I know their sufferings. I've come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians. I'll bring them up out of the land to a good and broad land, flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites." Okay, a lot of ites, right? So the point here is that what God is trying to do in you is to get you to take off the things that keep you from him, because he looks at, I would venture to guess, a lot of followers are proclaimed to be followers of Jesus, and he looks at them and says, "Don't come at me with that in your heart. Don't you come at me with that in between us. It doesn't work. This is holy ground. You come at me straight." And a lot of times we want to come with stuff in between because we're afraid that if we're truly revealed to God, he will see us for who we really are, not realizing he already does. Or even though we do realize he already knows who we are and knows us exactly for who we are, we're unwilling or unable to come at him bare. So we put our sandals on. We put on our self-righteous. We put on our pretension. We put on the idea that somehow we've got it all together. And we come at him with that. And the reason is we're afraid that our feet stink. We're afraid that we're going to come into the throne room of God. We're going to walk into the holy with stinky feet. And simply put, you will. You will always walk into the holy with stinky feet. And kind of an interesting understanding of this chapter, of this Exodus chapter 3, holy ground will always smell like dirty feet. It's just a simple fact. There will always be, you're always going to carry in with you. And this is why when we couple this idea with the idea that Jesus got down and washed feet, and Moses came to the Lord with these dirty, stinky, smelly feet, and then Jesus gets down and washes them, that what we see is when I walk into the holy, he does the cleaning. He cleans my act up. He cleans my life up. He's the one that's going to make me holy like himself, not me. And listen, there's no sandal on the planet that will get you into the holiness of God and keep you clean. There's nothing you can do in this life that's somehow going to magically bring you into the holiness that God requires of you. So he requires the holiness, and he does the work of making you holy. If you're just willing, listen, holiness, when we come into the holiness of God, is always going to be uncomfortable for us because we are aware of our own brokenness in it. That when we take off our sandal, when we take off our shoes, and we allow God to be aware and I'm fully aware that he is fully aware of my brokenness, then I can truly be cleaned and healed by him at that moment, not whenever I clean myself up. I get my own act right, and I get my own preconceived notions of who God is. I get my own self-righteousness out. I will never be able to do those things. What I must do is be willing to come before him bare. Whoa, time out. Pause. Can we just take 1 second and focus on the fact that God is not offended by how dirty and smelly and awful Moses' feet were? He was offended by the fact he wore his sandals there. Come before him in such a way that there is nothing between him and me. So then, what I can do is be made holy by him. Listen, this is what your pastor. Listen, if the pastor of your church is seeking to do one of these things, if he wants to be followed by men, if he wants to be famous in his area, if he wants to grow the biggest church, best church in the area, listen, not bad goals, but if that is the number one goal, and the number one goal is not to create lifelong spirit-led followers of Jesus, then he's missed his mark. And it's for us, as the body of Christ, to be spirit-led followers of Jesus. Because without that, we're followers of men. We're walking in the flesh, and we're trying to come into the holy with our sandals on.